Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. On this Manifestation Miracle Monday, there's been a lot of realigning happening in the universe. So we welcome the carefree medium to the show. Susanne Wilson, tell us a little bit about what we might be experiencing right now.
There is a shift in consciousness that's happening, but it is happening on an individual level. I'm often asked as a spiritual teacher, what can I do to change the world? And my first reaction is, what are you doing to work on yourself right now? There's this myth that there's a separation between all of us and that we're separate from the divine source. I think that's a quantum physical manifestation of our very human belief that we're individuals. But that's only part of the story. You know, there's a part of us that's always connected with that universal consciousness, but we have to turn off the cell phones once in a while, breathe, get with Mother Nature. But yeah, change is here.
I've been so excited to meet you. Love your work. And I have a question real quick before, because obviously if it's a carefree medium, so back in the day, I used to think that mediumship was just about talking to people who have transitioned, right? And now mediumship is really considered like an umbrella, which I love that because I mean, what you just said is 1,000% truth, and I completely resonate with your work for sure. So tell us what you do exactly and what you can bring, what messages you can bring. I know that you talking about the shift happening right now, the alignment. I love that. What else?
Well, I'm called the Carefree Medium because I live and work based in Carefree, Arizona. But I happen to believe that once you get the greater reality that you're a soul in the body, the soul first, that you can live a more carefree life. A teacher of mine once said, you know, Susanne, the peace that surpasses all understanding is always available to you, but you have to seek it. You have to invite it and let it in.
So what would you say to people who are afraid of that? Because I've had conversations with people very close to me. I said, I really encourage you to seek this and try it. And they said, I'm scared. I don't know what I'll find out or uncover about myself.
That's the number one barrier. And Dr. Erin, you were asking me, what do I do? I teach people how to release the fear. You're not going to see or feel something scary, bad, evil, because that's not who you are. If you open up to the energy that's around you and ask, help me move forward on my path, show me signs, symbols, synchronicities, there's nothing scary there.
I think what a lot of it, though, is that some of these people, and this one person I'm speaking to in particular, have experienced very traumatic events, especially in their childhood.
Yes.
And maybe they identify with those events and they're taking that on as that is them. And so to go through that, I mean, how does a person work through that?
Well, trauma, when we step back and think of it from the perspective of the soul, it's a temporary situation. And no experience that we have while we're in a body, no experience is wasted. None of it is wasted. It all comes together to make you who you are today. So if we can reframe that trauma as, I'm here, I'm strong, what have I learned, I've survived, and how can I pay it forward to help someone else who's maybe not that far along.
Wow, I love that. So we want to get the 2020 is coming up.
Yeah.
Big time on the, neurological, and I'm, I believe that all of the timeline is to measure consciousness and how we are evolving in our consciousness. Anything that you see particular coming our way as a species?
I think we're going to realize that we're living in an interdimensional world. Many, many 100 years ago, I believe that people saw auras. Everyone, not just clairvoyants like me, but that everyone saw auras. And over time, we unlearned that. I believe that people are going to get more in touch with their spirit guides, that invisible support team that's around you 24/7, sending you those freaky deaky coincidences that point the way. And I think that in our lifetimes, we're going to see a change to where everyone who wants to, and that's the key, everyone who wants to, will be able to make his or her own direct connection with their own beloved people and pets in spirit and their guides. It's coming.
Toto, where are you? Just kidding. No,
So-
I love it.
Yeah.
Right over there.
Just find this fascinating. And of course, I wonder, for you, and of course you're maybe a lot more advanced, but for people that maybe want to connect to those spiritual guides, or maybe just want to experience less peace or less fear and more peace in their lives, what practices would you recommend?
Well, everyone starts with prayer and meditation. And one of the complaints I hear from people is, I can't meditate. I'm not a meditator. And I ask them, do you go for walks in nature? Do you run? Do you sit in the bubble bath and relax? I mean, it doesn't have to be sitting like this going, but quiet the mind and unplug is first. And then there's the invitation and the intention. Before you go to sleep at night, just say, Spirit guides, I'm wrestling with an issue right now. I'd love to meet with you. We meet on what's called the astral plane. And I may not remember all the details of that meeting, but will you allow me, please, to wake up with a greater sense of calm and peace so that I can make my own best decision? And they'll come through for you. It may take more than one night.
Love that.
You can't get there by the 405.
There you
It's
go.
going to be all different.
So you can meditate while you're on the 405.
Right? Yeah.
So
For sure.
one last, but we've had quite a few mediums and intuitives and psychics on the show, and one of our traditions is to get a little reading. So anything particular that you'd like to read for the show or for
Only positive news.
Yeah.
though.
Right.
We gotta have
That's
this
all we
Only
get.
that positive.
That's all we get. Yeah, actually, I was listening to your talk earlier about the immortality, and I feel like this show is actually going to have an even bigger platform than you have right now. And I see a multiple book contract for every single person here, which is interesting. I think you're going to do one together and then your own
Yes.
separate
We talked about
spin-offs.
that. Mhm.
And I also get the number 3 being very big here, as in trilogy, like 3 different parts.
I
So-
love that. We've talked about that because we all have our own expression, and
Mhm.
the show's amazing, and we have our unique, platform.
Well, you
Yeah.
planned to come here before you were born. You planned to come together.
See?
You planned to meet.
I believe that. They always say, "Are you sisters?"
It sounds right on. We really appreciate you, and tell people where they can find. How do they work with you? What does that look like?
Well, I work with people from all over the world on the Zoom platform, which is great. And I
And you're an
teach-
author, and you're a
I'm an author,
keynote.
keynote speaker, international keynotes, and my website is carefreemedium.com.
Fantastic.
Oh.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate
Stacey,
you
we'll be back
guys.
with more on Good Morning La La Land.